Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment as we have some unfortunate news out of Tennessee Titans training camp today as DeAndre Hopkins has suffered a knee injury. He will be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Unfortunate news, but not the end of the world news as I look at my fake watch there. The beginning of the season is about 5.5 weeks away. At least our game is. Our game is not until 5 weeks and about 3 days from today. So, assuming that the timeline is correct, he will miss at most 1 game. So, it's not that bad. Now, the problem is that 1 game, in my view, is very much so a 50-50 game. In fact, to be honest with you, I'm kind of leaning Bears. And it really just kind of depends how ready that offense is. And I mean, we're both going through 2 new offensive systems, really. So we both have that in common. They have a rookie, we have a sophomore. So I like that advantage. But also, I mean, look, I like Caleb a little bit more than Will Levis. Now, we'll see, if Caleb's ready day 1, though. I don't know if that's going to be the case. So there's just a lot of unpredictable factors in that game. It's really a toss-up to me, and it's in Chicago, so I was leaning Chicago. If Hopkins is out, I'm definitely picking Chicago. In fact, if I don't pick Chicago, just honest, it's probably just because I'm just picking just as a fan, but I don't like to do that on this channel. So it's not a big deal to me. It's not the end of the season. I just think it's a 50-50 game. But if he's out for that game, I will feel more strongly for sure that Chicago would win that game, and that would stink, but it wouldn't hurt the season. But here's my interesting angle on this. In a way, overall, this is unfortunate, right? That's why I started this video by saying it's unfortunate. Because I would have preferred to have him out there. I would have preferred for us to be running the offense the way it's going to be run, with the personnel of which we hope is going to be run with the entire season. However, now we have an opportunity for Treylon Burks to save his Titans career. Now, I was already under the belief that he was on track to make this team anyway, that he was going to be that 4th, 5th wide receiver, and that they're going to use him basically on the occasional go route and here and there in other situations, and he might make some plays. But now he's able to really be in that starting 3 lineup because he's going to move on up through the rest of training camp, make some plays, and maybe restore some confidence in him. Now, when Hopkins comes back, he's going right back down, but you feel more comfortable having more of a rotation at wide receiver. Because at the end of the day, Hopkins, he's going to be coming off this knee injury, and from all indications that I have heard, this is not an injury that is going to continue to hamper him this season. This is an injury that as soon as he's ready to go, he'll be ready to go, and there's nothing to worry about. This is not a situation where he has to continue to get it, cleaned and, picked at and monitored and all that. Once he's good to go, he'll be good to go. I think it's a sprain. So when Hopkins comes back, though, again, what is he, 31 right now, right? You do want to rotate him a little bit, right? I want him out there as much as possible. I mean, maybe really should be out there more. I don't know. There's an argument between who should be out there more between the two. But you can rotate Treylon Burks a little bit in there and keep all of them fresh. Keep all of them fresh. Ideally, I think that's the most ideal. All right, you keep Hopkins as fresh as possible. You keep Ridley as fresh as possible. And you throw in this Treylon Burks if he's being effective. If he's not being effective, then screw Treylon Burks. Get him out of there. But if he's being effective, it makes things interesting. It makes us more difficult to defend. It makes us a more dynamic offense. And it makes us 4 deep at wide receiver because I think Tyler Boyd is going to give us exactly what we think Tyler Boyd is going to give us, which is a productive, highly productive, slot, reliable, dependable wide receiver. In fact, who FanDuel just rated as the best wide receiver 3 in the league. Yeah, I didn't say, I won't say he's the best, but that's what they have, so I'll listen to them. So this is not a devastating blow. Luckily, we didn't have an ACL. Okay, now let me, because that, knock on wood, it might be coming. But we didn't have an ACL or anything crazy yet. So we can thank the gods of both old and new for that. It's unfortunate. And again, this is why, by the way, though, again, luckily it happened before this season. This is why, and I think, look, DeAndre Hopkins exceeded my expectations last year. I thought he was gonna get maybe 700-800 yards, ended up with over 1,050. He could have broke 1,100. This year, with Calvin Ridley added to the fold, with Tyler Boyd added to the fold, remember, it was Hopkins who had 1,050 last year, and then the next leading wide receiver was Chris Moore with like 400. Okay, like no one else contributed. With Ridley in there now, with Boyd in there now, you're going to see Hopkins' numbers go down. And, you know, with this advanced age, this is why, look, I love what he gave us last year, and I'm not discounting that. I'm not trying to minimize that. But this is why he's not in my long-term play. When people are talking about, we need to talk about extending DeAndre Hopkins this summer. I'm like, slow your roll there, buddy. I mean, look, I'm pretty sure I'd happy to be having him back next year. I don't think he'll play poorly this year to the point to where I wouldn't want him back. But I'm also like, ayo, chill. I think it was the best wide receiver season we've had here. I mean, since A.J. Brown. And then before then, since years. So I get why you fell in love with it. But relax. He is still getting up there in age. And if these injuries keep happening, he's going to fall off a cliff, well, quicker rather than later. Which is why I was so down if Malik Neighbors fell to us, which he didn't. And why I was down for Rome Odunze, which we didn't. But that's why. Because these things might continue to pop up. Now, luckily, Ridley, who's 29, by the way, we got. And then Tyler Boyd, who's not in our long-term future either. This is why wide receiver is still a big need next year. This is why wide receiver is still a big need next year. Just a reminder. It's good right now. I love the trio right now. For this year, it is good. I have no problem with our wide receivers right now. But we still need that Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors next year. Whoever that form is, whether it be Luther Burden, now God forbid we're drafting that high. But whether it be Luther Burden III or whoever else, I'm still looking. I'm still keeping an eye out for that next guy. Because I think Ridley's going to continue to be a 1B. But again, it's before the season. It's nothing to freak out about. It's unfortunate. But it's going to give an opportunity. And also the good thing about it is, to an extent, you can keep Ridley and Boyd where they've been practicing and just have Burks play the Hopkins role. You can do that. You can absolutely do that. And then throw Nick Westbrook and Kenny in there as much as you want to do it. It's really not that bad. My only big problem with it is, and that's exactly what I would do, by the way, because I still want, I mean, you can't move Boyd outside. I mean, just don't even think about it. You could move Ridley to more of what Hopkins' role is and then move Burks and then switch him around, whatever. But I would like the offense to look as closely as possible as it will for most of the season, assuming everyone's healthy. So that's my main concern, that we won't be having that total rapport maybe necessarily, because also Hopkins was still going to play the role of mostly being the bailout guy. So essentially on plays where no one's open, Will Levis trying to figure something out, he's just going to bail out and just throw it to DeAndre Hopkins. So he's not be able to practice that. Which, hell, maybe that's good. Maybe now he's going to be able to be more under control. Now, I mean, Hopkins came down with a lot of those balls last year, but I don't think that's something that you want to continue to do. So now it provides an opportunity for him to be able to, instead of, doing that, maybe having a little bit more control and being able to work with these other wide receivers. So I think this is not bad. This is not doomsday. It could be a lot worse. But again, this is why, look, and I love what Hopkins, and I think he's going to play well again this year. With all of these guys, though, assuming they're healthy. I mean, now I definitely don't think he's breaking 1,000 yards. Now, I said he could last year. This year, I don't think he is. Right? And I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying if you don't break 1,000 yards, you're trash. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to do it. If I had to guess right now, I would say Ridley. I think Ridley might lead the way. I actually really believe Ridley's going to lead the way, especially after this. So, Ridley might break 1,000, it's going to be close. And then Hopkins will come in with probably 800, and then Boyd 7. I think Boyd's actually going to do very well. Because Boyd is I think last year he didn't even get 6, or I don't even got 6. But I think he's actually going to do more than people expect. I think he might end up like 700 yards. I actually think he's going to do that well. So, and then Chig is going to stink. I'm done with Chig Okonkwo. Do not draft. People keep talking about Chig Okonkwo. This guy's a sleeper. He's not going to get even 500 yards again. And people are going to waste their time again. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. Wiley's going to get some production and take up whatever little production both of them get. So I don't want to hear about Chig Okonkwo and his production. I'm over it. If you want to talk about these three wide receivers, let's talk about them. I don't want to talk about the tight ends until maybe Wiley can do something. Okay, until then, Chig, I'm done with Chig. I think he can make plays. I'm done talking about Chig Okonkwo being any sort of reliable, consistent weapon. He's going to make the occasional play, and that's it. Okay, fine. I'll take it. But that's not a starting tight end that I like. So, all right. But yeah, that's my opinion on Chig. But not a big deal. Don't worry too much about it. Much worse things have happened. Not much worse things, but much more headlining things have happened in the last couple of days. Not much to worry about here. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on DeAndre Hopkins being out for 4 to 6 weeks for the Tennessee Titans. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. I'm out. See you all later.